If you feel like a loser, let's feel like losers together. Someone told me some time ago that I am very sincere and open with people. And, today, literally, I realized the secret to that. And let me tell you, life of each and every one of us is a mess. Nobody's life is perfect, and nobody's life is perfectly organized. Everyone's life is a perfectly organized mess, okay? Because it is only in chaos that we thrive, that we grow, that we evolve. So, that being said, there is no need to pretend that my mess is better than your mess. Okay, mess is a mess, and that's it. The end of the story. If you feel like you're a loser, let me tell you, it's not that bad as it seems to be, okay? I feel like a loser very often, especially lately when I've been trying to grow my socials for like a year, and during this year, just people unsubscribed me. And on one hand, I kind of expected it because I was talking about totally different stuff, not what people used to know me for. And I understand that people would just naturally go, and that's okay, but I still, figuring out my voice and messaging and all this kind of stuff. And it's challenging when you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable and stuff, and you're just open your soul, and there is no like energy exchange, it's really hard. Like it hurts insanely. And during the last couple of weeks, it was especially hard. But listen, we're healthy, we're alive, we have two hands, we have two legs, we have eyes and ears. I can talk to you, you can listen to me, you can see me. It's never that bad, and there are always things to be grateful for. So let's not say that everything is that bad. Now, if you start talking really poorly to yourself at this point of your life, that doesn't help, okay? It's not helping. So let's not do it. You see, sometimes things do not depend entirely on you. Sometimes it's your timing. Sometimes, yes, it's the amount of actions that you take. Everyone struggles with something. Okay, absolutely everyone. There is nobody on planet Earth that has it all figured out, that things just fall out like that for them. No, no. Everyone struggles, and that's okay. It's all about, how we perceive the struggle, how we deal with that struggle. So if you want to improve right now how you feel about whatever it is that you can't figure out, is to first of all surrender and to admit that yes, you are defeated. I feel like 1 year ago I would say, oh, write things that you're grateful for, or write, manifestations, or go and, do a Pinterest board or whatever. I mean, if that helps, perfect. If you feel like it doesn't help, well, listen to this. Admit that you're defeated. Admit that you failed. Admit that, yes, you're not perfect. You're not, and you haven't succeeded just the way you expected it to. However, the fact that you haven't succeeded yet, it doesn't mean that you failed like forever, like for the rest of your life you're a failure, you're a loser. No, no. If you're not at your point B yet, it doesn't mean that, you'll be stuck at point A forever. No, of course not. It doesn't mean that, journey that you made that far, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does. And, maybe you're just like one step away from that point B. You never know. If you admit that, okay, yes, I'm defeated, I failed, whatever, you suddenly become free. You no longer put pressure on yourself that you gotta make it. You no longer like expect to make a breakthrough overnight. You no longer, just in that race to achieve something. Because sometimes what you actually need is to look at the things from the bird eye view and get a fresh outlook on what it is that you're doing, and possibly get some insights into what is it that you're doing wrong, which is not necessarily true. You might doing everything right, but it's just not your time yet. Guys, when I got cured of cancer, I graduated, I went to Bali, to live for 2 months, and it was quite a nice experience. I got myself a karma reading back then, and that lady told me lots of interesting stuff. And one of them was that my career path won't be as easy as it is for the majority of people, and that it might be difficult for me to earn respect of other people. And honestly, it is something that I actually am facing right now. Even though I did have these situations before, currently it's even harder because I put really lots of effort and I feel like it just doesn't pay off. So, why such things happen? There is no cause without root, right? And thanks to that karma reading, I learned lots of things about myself, about my past incarnations. If you don't believe it, it's fine, but I do believe it because I found many answers to many of my questions really that I have about my life. She said that in my past incarnations, most probably I wasn't a very responsible person, and I might have actually hurt people back in those lives, that people were hurt because of me. You may be skeptical about it, but like I said, I do believe it because honestly I just can't figure out any other reason to why certain things happen and why certain things align easier for one group of people and don't align for the other group of people, or like for some it's hard and for some it's easier. And then you might say, oh, but it's the mindset, or oh, it's that they have just aligned with that, or whatever. But like, think about it. Why certain people are born in certain families? Why do you think certain people were brought up by the most loving parents and they gave them all the love and care and they grew up happy, rich, wealthy, healthy, and all this stuff? And why some group of people, when they come into adulthood, they suddenly are incapable, or it takes them 10x effort to get to that same level? Why do you think it happens? Because of the karma baggage you came to this earth with. It doesn't mean that one group of people is better than the other group of people. No, absolutely not. It's all about the experience that you're here after. I feel like you just must understand things from more broad perspective in order to live a happy life. Because sometimes you can't find answers in science, even though I believe that there are many things in spirituality can be backed up by science. But also a very interesting fact is that scientists very often say that the longer they study science, the more they see how many things they just cannot explain. There is even this experiment, I'm not sure what it's called, but some action happens only when there is an observer. And when there is no observer, there is nothing. In order to live a happy life, you need to see things from more broad perspective. Whenever you feel like you're just tired of keep going, keep pushing, whatever, give yourself a break. Maybe make some adjustments. Maybe ask for help. Maybe ask for some insights of people who know something on it, and keep going. Do not give up. Because if you give up, it means that you're not gonna get there. But if you keep going, there are always two possibilities. You either make it or you don't make it. And most likely you will make it if you keep going, because the ones who move forward eventually reach their destination. I would recommend you to Google Neville Goddard meditation. I subscribed this girl, I might mention in the description, and I started listening to her meditations. Honestly, honey for my ears, sunshine for my soul. It just feels so nice, guys, to meditate to this, to her meditations. They're really soothing and they really help you to align with that vision of yourself. I absolutely love them, so I highly recommend them. And especially when those really difficult moments, when you feel like it's really hard to keep going, you need that support, right? You need that help. So highly recommend that. Really makes me feel so good in my body, in my soul, in my journey, because someone's journeys are more complicated, someone's journeys are more joyful and fun. If you feel like it's too heavy right now, highly recommend. Yeah, I just want you to say that you're not alone in this. Everyone is on the journey of figuring it out one way or another. It's just that the majority of people are okay with demonstrating only their highs, because very often people are afraid of being judged. People are afraid to look like losers. People are afraid to fail. People love when everyone claps to them. I've been dancing on the stage since I was 8 years old, and honestly, as much as I enjoy being clapped to, I am totally okay with the opposite side of it, when I'm just embracing the journey. Not every day is like this when I'm super confident and it's easy for me to talk about it. Absolutely not. But I just want you to say that you're not alone. And if you keep going, you'll eventually end up where you're meant to be. I'm sending lots of love your way, and I will see you in my next one. Subscribe.